Isabella was only 8 when her parents separated, leaving her and her younger brother in the care of their grandmother in a small rural town. Life was difficult. Her grandmother sold vegetables at the local market, and Isabella often helped after school. Books were scarce, but she found old English novels stacked in a dusty corner of the town's library. She read them slowly, stumbling over the language at first, but with every page she turned, she felt herself transported into worlds far bigger than her own. Those books became her refuge, and from that young age she promised herself, one day, she would help other children discover that same magic in the English language. At 27, Isabella was teaching English in a secondary school. She had fulfilled the promise, but reality was not as easy as the dream. Teaching English as a second language came with challenges that tested her daily. Students often struggled with limited vocabulary, and she found herself explaining the same word in 5 different ways before understanding clicked. Many of her students feared speaking aloud, worried that their accents or grammatical mistakes would invite laughter. Writing assignments piled high on her desk, each filled with repeated errors in sentence structure and verb tenses, demanding hours of corrections late into the night. There were also moments of discouragement. Parents questioned her methods, administrators pressured her with endless paperwork, and at times, her colleagues hinted that teaching English was less important than teaching science or mathematics. She carried these burdens quietly, determined not to let them show to her students. One afternoon, as she was preparing feedback for a stack of essays, her phone rang. It was her younger brother from back home. His voice shook as he explained that their grandmother had fallen ill. Isabella felt her chest tighten. She wanted to be there, but she was kilometers away with a classroom full of responsibilities and barely enough savings to send home. The weight of her family's struggles combined with her workload felt unbearable. For a moment, she wondered if she had chosen the wrong path. But Isabella was not one to surrender. She reminded herself of the promise she had made as a child, to give others the gift of language, no matter the obstacles. And so she kept going. One evening, while watching a random educational video on YouTube, an advertisement appeared for a tool called Grammarly. Curious, she signed up. What happened after that shifted everything. Grammarly became her silent teaching assistant. Instead of spending hours circling the same grammar mistakes, she could now rely on Grammarly to flag errors instantly. It provided real-time suggestions that helped students understand their mistakes faster. With Grammarly's plagiarism checker, she no longer had to worry about the authenticity of essays. More importantly, her students gained confidence. They could draft, edit, and polish their work with immediate feedback before even handing it in. This small discovery freed Isabella's time and energy. She no longer drowned in paperwork. Instead, she could focus on creative lesson plans, meaningful discussions, and mentoring her students individually. Her evenings, once spent correcting papers until dawn, were now partly free for her own growth. With renewed determination, Isabella enrolled in a master's program in education. Today, she sits in graduate seminars, often reflecting on her journey. She knows the struggles of her childhood, the doubts in her career, and even that painful phone call from her brother have all shaped her into the resilient teacher she is. Grammarly didn't just change how she taught, it reignited her belief that teachers can evolve, adapt, and keep inspiring regardless of setbacks. Isabella's message to every teacher is simple yet profound. Your struggles do not diminish your worth, they strengthen your ability to impact others. Tools like Grammarly can lighten your load, but your dedication and heart are the true forces that transform classrooms. If you feel overwhelmed, remember Isabella's story, press on, seek help, embrace new resources, and never forget the promise you made to yourself when you chose this noble profession. Because teaching is not just about grammar rules, equations, or historical dates. It is about shaping lives. And no obstacle, whether it be piles of essays, skeptical parents, or family hardship, can silence a teacher who refuses to give up.